Now, Silicon Valley is known for its ties to the prestigious Stanford University, which nurtures some of the world's top tech and entrepreneurial talent for the region's startups. Now, other top-notch universities nearby include the University of California, Berkeley, but there's also a new school in the Valley that's promising to provide just as good of an experience, if not better, in a matter of weeks. Mark New joins us live from Silicon Valley for more.
Karina, some might consider venture capitalist Tim Draper a Silicon Valley Renaissance man. His grandfather is credited as being Silicon Valley's first VC. His father was a venture capitalist too. Tim's now carrying the torch with the venture capital firm Draper Fisher Jerviston, which has invested in such companies as Tesla, Skype, Hotmail, and Baidu. Having earned degrees from Stanford and Harvard and even doing a short stint as an actor, Draper is now tackling education by opening a school that seeks to shake things up. Tim Draper purchased this former hotel for $20 million in order to convert it into the headquarters of the Draper University of Heroes.
I will explore the world with gusto and enthusiasm, followed by a dance.
The education here isn't traditional. Draper asked new students to create a list of things they want to do before they die, and then name number 101.
To create an exhibit that goes into a national gallery or national museum.
To design my own car.
It costs $9,500 to attend a 6 to 8 week session, though many students have been granted scholarships or found other ways to pay. Draper U has allowed students to pledge 2% of their salary for the next 10 years in lieu of tuition. But there have been some more creative deals brokered. For example, a former National Football League player gave football workouts to the students for his tuition. Professional race car driver Colette Davis struck a scholarship deal to put Draper University logos on her car and race suit.
I knew I needed to be here to help, my racing career take off and grow because I turned it into a company. So I got, quick 101 and everything to do with starting a company.
Today, students are getting a lecture on futurology.
The majority of us aim too low.
And getting tied to their teammates for a scavenger hunt.
Being with all these great, almost heroes, superheroes, entrepreneurs is what just sort of motivated me.
I don't think education can really teach you how to build a business, but you need to be inspired in a certain way, like unconventional way.
Right across from the headquarters, Draper takes me to a city of heroes, where young entrepreneurs busily work away at an incubator and an accelerator called Boost, run by his son Adam. What was it like growing up with him as a dad?
We played a lot of Monopoly. He would incentivize us with baseball cards. It was a great system.
Another big part of the Draper philosophy is putting students through survival training so they can experience worst-case scenarios before hopefully someday going on to become heroes. Draper's teaching philosophy is all about change and putting students in situations outside of their comfort zone. He says that's the life of an entrepreneur, often being on your own, and despite repeatedly being told no, it's your job to have a vision and bring people along. I sat down with Tim Draper and began by asking him what the Draper University of Heroes is trying to achieve.
So what we're trying to do is something that people have said is impossible. We're teaching entrepreneurship. And the way to teach entrepreneurship is to get people to keep trying, to try and try again, to fail and fail again until they succeed.
What use are these games that you come up with?
The games that we play actually have a purpose to them. When we play soccer, we say, okay, one more thing. You can use your hands. So get into the feeling that you need to change things.
$9,500 for a 6 to 8 week course.
Yeah, it's actually cheap. It's half of what Stanford charges for a quarter.
Do you really think that they're getting as much out of this as they would be at Stanford or Harvard?
Oh, they're getting so much more. They get 50 different speakers in 8 weeks, from Elon Musk to Ron Johnson. Then they get to meet a whole panel of venture capitalists, and they get 2 full minutes with that panel of venture capitalists. You don't get that guaranteed anywhere.
Do you want Draper U to make a profit?
Absolutely. We expect this to ultimately make a profit, and we think it's actually going to be good for the world, because I think we're going to create 40 new heroes every quarter.
And why do you keep using the word heroes?
We're pushing these people to be those those extraordinary individuals who take long odds at extraordinary outcomes.
What do you see as the problem today in the world of VCs?
I think the venture capital business is ripe for some sort of at least a transition, if not some sort of a revolution. We've got now the angels and super angels, we've got crowdfunding, and part of what I'm doing with Draper University is I'm identifying what it is that we really need.
Silicon Valley preaches not being afraid to fail. What would you say is one of your biggest failures?
Biggest failures for a venture capitalist are always the ones that got away. We were outbid for Yahoo and Facebook, and we talked ourselves out of doing Google because we already had 6 search engines in the portfolio.
Do you kick yourself for that?
I can't. I have to just keep looking forward and saying, okay, did I learn anything from that? I'm very excited about the future, and I think that entrepreneurship and creativity is not limited to the Silicon Valley, and I think in China there's going to be an enormous boom. In fact, we've noticed that some of the technologies that, for instance, Baidu has are beyond some of the technologies that Google has. So where the transfer of technology used to come from the US to China, now some of it's actually going back the other way.
How many deals have you done in China?
I think we've done 20 deals in China, maybe 40 deals in China. We're in that range. I thought going into China I would need a different way of looking at startups. And when I tried that different way of looking at startups, it turned out it didn't make any sense. The best way to look at a startup is, who is that one individual who is really going to go out and change the way the world works?
Your students in an exercise were asked to write a bucket list of the 101 things they want to do before they die. What's number 101 on your bucket list?
I haven't yet announced it, but I am doing it, and you will hear about it in the next 3 or 4 months. Why I chose the 101st for the students, though. The first is the obvious one that they can probably check off in a week. And then they start going and they get into their vision of their life. As they're getting toward 101, they're thinking about the thing that they really, really want to do with their life, because that's the most important one on their list.
In the current session, nearly half of the students are from outside the United States. It's typically for applicants between the ages of 18 to 26, though the school often makes exceptions. Draper U did not reveal what percent of applicants it accepts, only saying they were very satisfied with how many people were applying. Karina.
Mark, I got to say, I like this Draper even better than Don Draper. And you know, he mentioned that he wants the school to be profitable. Is the school at all benefiting from the businesses some of these students start?
Well, I asked him if they mind the talent that comes in for the school's own benefit. He said they should, though I didn't get the impression that too much of what was happening in this early stage. His hope is to create a system for talented individuals to have an easy path to become a successful entrepreneur. That's partly why the City of Heroes just officially launched this past weekend across the street from Draper U, where there's an incubator and accelerator. Indeed, Draper hopes the talent that comes into the school can feed into that system and go on to build successful startups that have highly successful exits, which in turn he feels should in some way financially benefit the school. That's the idea, but it's just started. Karina.
Thanks, Mark. If only I were under 30 and I could go to this school. Sounds like a great institution.